Definitely looking at how, which direction it goes, preparing for, either scenario, opponent, travel, stay here. So I wouldn't say difficult. It's certainly nice to be able to get a couple days to reset, prepare. And we're kind of doing our due diligence and sort of having one-off team meetings until obviously kind of locking in after this game tonight.
Last year, you guys put a lot of emphasis on, of course, the guys being together and obviously locking in these 4 weeks with a game being tonight, with so much kind of being on that game. Is this an example as are you guys gonna like plan to watch together or just kind of another way of having some team bonding at this time of the season?
I think it's more of yesterday giving the guys the day off. Certainly a very intense series, and then today getting back to work, trying to mirror a potential game time for Monday, whether it's local or in Milwaukee, and just giving us a couple hours together to spend time. And obviously, during the workout, we'll have that game on the big board.
Thank you, Dave.
Yep.
Next question's from Dave Vassegg. Go ahead, Dave.
Hi, Dave. Just wanted to know if you plan, depending on matchups, how much of a change will the roster look like at the end of the bench with Dean and Kim? And how's Kike feeling after that last game when you guys went out to check on him in the 11th?
Kike, from what I understand, is in a much better spot. Obviously, the couple days is beneficial. So I don't think he's going to be impacted going forward. I think that now you're talking about a potential 7-game, you're talking about a 7-game series, potential 7-game series versus a potential 5-game series. So now, obviously pitching becomes more paramount, and I don't know exactly how, the roster's going to look, but I think the 7-game series, and then you layer on a potential opponent, it's going to look a little bit different.
You're thinking maybe an extra pitcher and one less position player, and
that's probably the start of it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next question's from Bill Plunkett. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, Dave, we've talked about this a little bit, but what do you make of Shohei's slump?
I think a little bit is driven by, I think a lot of it actually, Bill is driven by the left-handed pitching. And even with that, he wasn't as bad during the regular season as he was in the postseason versus those guys. Certainly, whatever opponent we face, they're going to try to put as many lefties on Shohei, but hoping that he can kind of do a little self-reflecting on that series and how aggressive he was outside of the strike zone, passive in the zone, and just the at-bat quality needs to get better. So hopefully, with the hitting guys himself, learning from that past series and getting better, because we're going to need him to be better.
How much do you think was the unfavorable matchups pitching wise, and how much was self-inflicted?
I think it was started out more so as the unfavorable matchups. I thought, in the wild card series, he was fine. They weren't going to let him beat him. And then, I thought from the first pitch on in that division series, chasing in off kind of set the tone for that series.
Thanks, Dave. Congratulations on your Bruins.
Sorry, Bill, I didn't want to bring that up, but thank you.
Next question is from Jack Harris. Go to Jack.
Hey, Dave, do you guys have a game one starter yet?
We don't. We're going to talk through it. Jack, I think there's obviously a few different ways we can go. So I think that's going to be, a little bit. We're kind of get the guys together and circle up here today, and probably we'll have it tomorrow.
Okay. And then how are you guys handling like the logistics of tonight? Is everyone just packed and ready to go to the airport if you guys got to go to Milwaukee?
No, we're going to fly out tomorrow morning.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Next question is from Fabian. Go ahead.
Yeah, Dave, just to follow up on Shohei, I think it's kind of similar spot for him coming out of the DS last year, where obviously Tanner Scott was pretty tough on him and Darvish was pretty tough on him. How did he sort of recalibrate to have a better CS last year? Is there anything he can do to kind of do a similar thing this year?
I think that's very a good point, and I think the word recalibrate is what he did last year, and what we're going to need from him this next series. And we're not going to win the World Series with that sort of performance. So we're counting on a recalibration, getting back into the strike zone, understanding, what when he faces left-handed pitching, what they're going to try to do, crowd him in off and then spin him away. And he's just got to be better at kind of managing the hitting zone. And so I'm counting on it, and we're all counting on it.
And obviously, you're not going to have as many off days to deal with as you did during the DS, and Yamamoto and Ohtani are going to need extra rest. Is there going to be a possibility where you need a fifth starter if that's necessary, just considering how the off days line up?
No. I think that the four starters and how we kind of, line it up is important, but I think four is going to be what is all we need.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Next question's from Rowan Cavner. Go ahead, Rowan.
Hey, Dave, I know you're still waiting to see who you're going to play, but if it is the Brewers, you and Pat Murphy have come a long way since San Diego in 2015. I'm curious how well you knew him then and maybe what your relationship's been like since then.
We got a great relationship. Pat and I, we go way back and have a great friendship, and really impressed with what he's done with that ball club. And they're just a gritty team. They play hard, and they play to win. So regardless of how it comes out, he's had a tremendous season.
Thanks.
Yep.
Next question's from Sonia Chen. Go ahead, Sonia.
Hey Dave, kind of to follow up on like the rotation, do you see the need to potentially insert a bullpen day if the series got to 6-7 games, or do you think 4 starters can cover that?
Yeah, I don't know how the series, obviously no one knows how the series is going to play out, but I do think that how we would kind of line the starters up. We would do the best we can to get 4 starters and not have to, take on a bullpen game.
And last series, Kershaw, the night he pitched, you obviously were down a man in the bullpen, but is this something that he's kind of willing to do, eat innings, if that's kind of his best fit on a postseason roster going forward?
Yeah, I think that, Clayton's, just like all of our guys, are willing to do whatever it takes to contribute, and whatever role that might be. We were down a man, for a game, last series. But going forward again, I don't know how this roster is going to look, but Clayton to everybody else will do whatever it takes. Yes.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Next question's from Megan Garcia. Go ahead, Megan.
Hey Dave, you guys beat the Phillies without a lot of slug. What does that say about the offense, and how do you expect that to play out in the NLCS?
I think this past series just speaks to the pitching and the defense, the run prevention. I don't think we weren't great offensively, and you got to give credit to the Phillies pitching staff. We're gonna need to be better offensively. Hopefully, you expect our pitching to continue to do what they've been doing for quite some time, and the offense to get untracked and to take a little bit of pressure off the pitching staff, which I can see happening regardless of opponent.
And then with Haisong, how much value does he bring to come off the bench, and how can he be utilized potentially in the next round?
A lot of value. Obviously the versatility from the shortstop to the second base to potentially in the outfield, the left-handed bat, the speed, which we utilized. He's a valuable player. I don't know how it's going to play out as far as the roster for this next series, but he's certainly going to be in the conversation.
Great, thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Next question's from Eric Steven. Go ahead, Eric.
Dave, Justin Dean has had a very specific role for you guys this year and this postseason. I'm wondering if you kind of had that role with the Red Sox in 2004. Is there any been a time where you've had like a conversation with him, like about your experience in that and like what to expect, or did that come up at all?
No, but I've had a conversation with him, but not specifically to my role. It was more of just understanding, for this year, his center field defense is a premium, and there might be times that he's asked to run and potentially steal a base, and so he was in for whatever was asked or needed of him. And you can see how much we counted on him in certain spots.
Next question's from Michael Duarte. Go ahead.
Hi, Dave. Miggy Rowe told me that regardless of which team you face, Brewers or Cubs, that there's some get back that the team wants to get. The Cubs won the last 4 against you, and obviously the Brewers all 6 in the regular season. Is that something you agree with, and is that something you might use as motivation with your team this series?
I don't think I need to bring it to light. I think it's pretty apparent that the Brewers kicked our tails, and the Cubs had their way with us once we came back from Tokyo, and so that's the players are motivated. But again, regardless of opponents, we got to win this next series, and so. But yeah, but I do think that learning from what those guys did against us to beat us behooves us, and so that's something that I'm personally mindful of. How we can kind of flip that script.
All right, last one's from Nayuki. Go ahead.
Hi, Dave. Going back to Shohei, on the day he pitches, he seems to swing early in the count. How do you see that?
Yeah, I think it's true. I think when he's pitching, he's trying to probably conserve energy and not really getting into at bats. Yeah, it hasn't been good when he's pitched. So I do think that that's part of it. So yeah, we got to think through this and come up with a better game plan.